I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I'm born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Hey, Rooted Men, good morning and happy Friday morning. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Ministries, and I'm in my Sunday morning setup here. Hey, Phil, hey, Ken, good to have you on board. A few others are popping on as well. Yeah, this is my Sunday setup where I typically am at my desk Monday through Friday, but I want to try to work standing up a bit today. Tired of sitting down. We're going to be looking at Psalm 139, and too much to do in one devotion, so I'm going to break it up and hit it today and into next week. It is an astounding psalm that David begins to ponder his relationship with God, and he actually begins to think of it like from God's perspective. It's like he's sitting back and introspectively saying, hey God, what does this look like? This relationship that I have with you, what does it look like? And there are some really powerful things in this psalm that if we would do more than just assent that they're true, but really believe they're true and live like they're true, I think our lives would be different. So we're just going to look at the first 6 verses, and then we'll go on from there. Hey, Bert Reggiani, good morning. Good to have you. O Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You're familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me in, behind and before, you've laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. God, you know me. That know is not, hey, I know Tom Donnelly exists. It's, I know Tom Donnelly. I know the intent of your heart. I know your thoughts as they're coming to be. I know them before the words come out of your mouth. I know you. We do not have a God who simply is in some type of a distant relationship with us. Matter of fact, he is more intimate with us than even those who are closest to us. That God actually knows me better than my own wife. There's a degree of this which is a bit uncomfortable, because I think our sinful nature, and because of our sinful nature, we tend to want to hide some things and think that we're successfully hiding them from people in this world, but we can never hide them from God. I know you, he says, you know me. And you know when I sit and when I rise. I mean, you know me. This very day, you know me. As I got up this morning, as I pondered life events this morning, as I pondered the day this morning, you were there and aware of my pondering. You were there, watching me, seeing me, understanding me. And he goes on to say that you've hemmed me in. The idea is like a hedge that protects, or a gate or a fence that protects something valuable from what might be out there to attack it. That God, in this crazy sinful world that we live in, you hem me in from behind and before. And he says, you've laid your hand on me. We think about the two hands of God, right? The left hand of God is always seen as judgment, and the right hand of God is always seen as power and mercy and redemption. God, you've laid your hand on me. All of us love human contact. We love the idea of someone shaking our hand, giving us a hug. When God lays his hand on you, can we even begin to absorb all that is meaning in there? He's our provider God. He is our protector God. The idea of God having his hand on me is that you're guiding me today. I'm not alone. In this crazy world that I'm living in, I'm not alone. You're right here with me. He finally says, such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. And this is just the beginning of Psalm 139. Then he goes on to try to attain it, and he can't, but it's so powerful. I find myself later in my life, in the latter parts of my life, finding the ability to be overwhelmed by God rather than the circumstances of this world. In my younger days, it'd be just the opposite. I could be so overwhelmed by the things going on in this world that I couldn't even find God. David is a king. He's a mature man. He has seen God protect him through his life with Saul trying to kill him, that God has been on his side. God has blessed him. He was a warrior. He was a winner. He even says that David was a man after God's own heart. That's David's side of this relationship. Because David is a man after God's own heart, he's realizing who God is. See, the closer we get, the more we understand. Aaron's always talking about intimacy. God created Adam and Eve so that he might have an intimate relationship with them, like a father and his children. God desires to have not a religious relationship with us, but a relationship with us. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. I can ponder this forever, David says, and I don't think I can wrap my mind around it. So this very day, we live in a world that's completely upside down. We live in a country that's completely upside down. What if you walk today knowing God's got his hand on you? And he knows your thoughts before you think them, and he knows your words before you say them. And he's a good, good father. And just as you press into him, he's going to press into you. And that's how we get through a day. Not being overwhelmed by the circumstances of this world, but being overwhelmed by this amazing relationship we have with our good, good Father. All right. I think I'll leave it at that. Israel's son Isidore from Haiti. Great work you're doing down there, rebuilding. So proud of you, Israel's son. Keep up the good work. Bobby Roop, good morning. Good to have you on board, bud. So we're going to attack the rest of Psalm 139 next week, but I just encourage you. I mean, in my Bible, there's notes all over. I got almost the whole chapter underlined. Read through Psalm 139 and do it slowly. Absorb every phrase, every word. Put yourself in David's shoes as a king of a powerful nation. And just absorb what he is contemplating about this God of ours. All right, that's what I have for you. Let me get up here. Again, this is where we do Sunday morning, and so it's a little bit different, but that's it. All right, guys, blessings on your day. Hey, make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.